What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, Marvel put out a crap ton of comics this week, so we're just playing catch up right now. And so I have two videos that I'm going to be dropping for you guys. And be sure to check in tomorrow morning because we're going to have the Mighty Valkyries, and we're going to be covering our X-Force, and we're going to be covering Sword. But for this video, we're going to be diving into Captain Marvel issue number 28. You guys know I got to cover this first. I freaking love me some Captain Marvel. I'm absolutely loving this storyline. If you haven't been keeping up with it, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that's been going on with Captain Marvel since the Empire event. Now, I have to say, Kelly Thompson has really been doing a phenomenal job when it comes to writing Captain Marvel. And in dealing with all of this trauma, she ended up kind of hooking up with Doctor Strange. But yeah, with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so this issue of Captain Marvel, it picks us up in the future state. You know, this is it. This is how it ends. Now, Captain Marvel, she isn't understanding why she's here. Because when she was in the future, she was told that she was off planet when this happened. When all of the heroes died. When Captain America died. But for some reason, she's here. She's here and she's witnessing the massacre of literally every hero on Earth. But this is when she wakes. Because it was just a dream. And we pick up in her apartment in New York City. And waking up from this nightmare, this is something that she has been dealing with on a regular basis. Not only is it becoming more regular, they're becoming worse. You know, she's seen so much horror in her life, but this is worse. And she's pretty sure she has guilt driving her. She can't seem to let it go because at the end of the day, she feels like it's her fault she didn't stop Ovi. And if he ends up being successful, he's going to end up killing billions of people. And so we pick up a little bit later and she's sitting down with Jessica, telling her, you know, kind of just everything that's happened. You know, and she's kind of making a joke about it because she does live. So she's like, you know, there is some good news that comes out of it. At least, you know, I'm alive, problem solved, like, what do we have to worry about? But she also tells Carol, like, what else can we do but laugh at this? Like, you know, you can't take this too seriously. Any number of villains could show up tomorrow and try to end us. You know, at this point, we're having a world-ending event every freaking Tuesday. You know, so far we're overdue. But Carol, you know, this really is bugging her because everyone dies, you know, everyone. It's almost every single person, and she wasn't strong enough to do it. And just ask, you know, like, why weren't you strong enough? How was he able to beat you? And this is where she says magic. And that's what brings us to the house of Doctor Strange. Now, arriving at the front door, Captain Marvel, she's super nervous. Like, she hasn't told Jessica that she hooked up with Doctor Strange at this point. And so she's trying to figure out why Carol's so nervous and why they're showing up in costume. But Carol wants Doctor Strange to know that this is a business matter. And Jessica still doesn't understand. She's like, how would he not understand if we came in civilian clothes? And then she starts to piece it together that she ended up sleeping with Doctor Strange. She slept with Steven. And this is when he opens up the door. He greets them and offers to have them come inside. And as they come inside, you know, Jessica is really kind of bugging Carol just for more information. How this all happened, why it all happened. And Jessica finally starts to piece together that she broke up with Rodney. Specifically, Jessica really starts to piece it all together. She really starts to piece together all the chain of events that happened that led Carol to Doctor Strange's bed, if you will. But before they can dive too deep into this conversation, before the snakes can really start to dive into the gossip, she's got to go. She gets an alert on her phone and she has to take off. And Carol, obviously upset with this, doesn't want to be left alone with Doctor Strange right now, feeling as a situation it's just really awkward for her. But this is where Carol, you know, she tells Doctor Strange why she's actually here. She's here because she needs to learn how to do magic. And Doctor Strange, he laughs at her, not realizing that she's serious. And when he does realize this, he's just like, no, like, I'm not doing that. Like, first of all, she has no affinity for magic whatsoever. It's not her thing, and she has no patience whatsoever. And he tells her, you know, it takes literal decades to learn magic. So even if you had the patience, you know, whatever problem you have, you don't have decades to learn magic to take care of it. And then he goes on even further and says, you know, I'm not done. Like, also think of it this way, and I don't say this lightly, if magic were something that you're vulnerable to, and you're trying to eliminate that weakness, I'm not sure that's great for the world. Someone as powerful as you, they really should have some weaknesses. But Carol lets him know, you know, that's a little bit insulting, but I don't have time to be insulted. My weakness dooms us all. That's literally what's happened. I was in the future and I saw billions of people die. And of course, this spikes his interest and he listens to her story. And so 20 minutes later, after hearing the whole event happen, Doctor Strange lets her know, you know, that while it may have been traumatic, and you're carrying a lot of misplaced guilt, maybe even some PTSD. But learning magic really isn't the answer. The future that she was in, you know, it's one of hundreds, thousands, and maybe even millions. It's difficult for the best people who can see the future and travel in these ways to even understand it. And he's not trying to disrespect her, but he's kind of telling her, you know, you're playing above your pay grade. You know, and at first Carol, you know, she takes this insulting. You know, most of what Doctor Strange has told her, she's been insulted by. But he tells her, you know, don't be a baby about it. Like, there's things you can do that I definitely can't. And there's things I can do that you can't. That's just the way of the world. But after a little bit of begging here, she's really just trying her best to be able to learn some magic, and he finally caves. But lets her know, like, she can't wear that ridiculous uniform because she's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And this is where we see the two walking down the street, and Doctor Strange is in his normal costume, but we see Captain Marvel in a kind of a Sorceress Supreme costume, if you will. But as these two walk down the street, they end up going down an alleyway. And this is where we see Doctor Strange open up a portal. And opening up this portal, it takes them to the bar with no doors. You know, most individuals are welcome here, to include Captain Marvel. Loki is really the only exception because there's a no Loki policy and a magical combination lock since he disappeared the last bar with no doors. And this is when they come up to two doors, one of them having a cat on it. And Doctor Strange tells Captain Marvel that she needs to clear her mind, because a big part of magic is control of your mind, a clear mind, a strong will, and the ability to focus and maintain concentration on a single goal. Because the room she's about to enter, the room and the entity inside is called the Schrödinger. You go in alone and you take inside only what you bring in your mind, your memories. So if you want something specific answered, you have to have a question you need in your mind. You have to have a clear mind and only think of that one question. And so Captain Marvel clears her mind, thinks of one single thought, and goes inside the room. Now, immediately going in the room, it's pitch white. And as she is inside, the entity speaks to her. Because at first she doesn't understand, like, this is the form she's taking, it kind of in flames. But this is the form that she brought into the room, into this entity. And it lets her know that there's not going to be help here, that there's only going to be perception. So it's going to be very, very cryptic help. And what she's seeing is moments from the future. And as she looks around, she doesn't see Ovi. And turning and seeing him, he attacks her. Now, at first, she thinks it's real. At least it feels real. But she ends up overpowering him. Now, she's thinking, you know, maybe it's showing her how to beat Ovi. Letting her see that giving him any kind of second chance or hesitation may be why she fails. But as she has him in her grasps, he uses magic and it pins her down to the ground. And she's failed. She's failed yet again. And she has failed everybody. Now, this is when Doctor Strange kind of snaps her out of it and asks, like, what was it that she saw? But she didn't see anything really particularly helpful for her. All it did was reinforce her belief that she needs to stop him and that she needs to know magic or be invulnerable to it or something to be able to defeat him. Now, she's really confused. She's like, why would you bring me here? Like, why won't you just help me like I'm asking you to? And Strange is letting her know, like, I'm helping you the best way I know how. This room, it's helped me see before, where my mind was clouded by fear and guilt, shame. You know, I thought maybe it could help you. You know, I'm trying my best here. And this is where he kisses her. And while, you know, it it does seem consensual. It also, at the same time, this has no help for her whatsoever. Like, you can kiss me all you like, this isn't gonna help me either. And so, because he's not gonna help, she's gonna go find somebody who will. And so she goes to every single magician that she knows. You know, Dr. Voodoo, Wiccan, Magic, Grimm, Talesman, Scarlet Witch. Every single one of them turn her away. Because Doctor Strange kind of put out the word that Captain Marvel is looking for a magician and for nobody to teach her. And nobody's gonna go against the Sorcerer Supreme. No one's gonna do it. And so this drives her to one last individual. Somebody she didn't want to have to go to. Somebody that's up in British Columbia. And this is when she goes to the house of Enchantress, the mother of Ovi in the future. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I personally have to say it's tons of fun. I am absolutely loving what Kelly Thompson is doing. And seeing, you know, Captain Marvel really go to the full lengths to take down Ovi. So far is that she's gonna go to the mother and try to have her teach her. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this issue so far. If you haven't yet, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.